Branding is going to set us apart from everyone else. Branding is what organizations do, companies, businesses. We do it internally. You look here, I believe we have 11 different logos, 11 different monikers that identify us. So we're already doing this internally to market ourselves and market our events. So why not do that on a more regional scale to bring us all in under one umbrella and attract business, industry, and residential? We're all from Monroe, or you all from Monroe. I've lived here for a while. I do not live in the city. I'd like to pose this question to you. What would you say, 2 or 3 words, describes Monroe? Anybody want to take a stab? Mayor, somebody asks you, what's Monroe?
Monroe is unique. It's got, as you just showed on the screen there, we have various offerings such as airport, downtown, and et cetera. So I think that sets us apart to some point.
So,
but we need to get to the rest of the point, as you've been talking about. And at some point, we, and when I say we, I'm talking about all of us, employees, capital, everybody, if we have to come together and figure out what we really need to do to make Monroe a destination. And we talk about this all the time.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's all we're doing is talking about it. Well, we need to come together and come to some conclusion and do it.
Yes, sir. Piggybacking on that, I did an informal poll through social media to people within Monroe. Tell me what Monroe is to you, 3 to 5 words. And a lot of the responses echoed a lot of what those of you that were at the retreat shared. So what do people say about Monroe? It's got great small town charm. It's got a wonderful downtown. It's a great place, great people. Perfect place to raise a family. Quaint, peaceful hometown. Cool, laid-back town. A town with a lot, my home. What you would expect from people that live in the city to share. And I'm going to, not all responses were favorable, but I would say about 75 to 85% of responses from within Monroe were favorable along those lines. Now you step outside of that line, what do people who do not live in Monroe, whether they be from Charlotte, Raleigh, outside of Monroe, say about Monroe? Where's Monroe?
Well, that's what it is. Everybody goes straight down 74.
Absolutely. Monroe is nothing but stoplights and traffic on 74. Monroe is a town you go through the beach, or you pass to get to the beach. From Ohio, Michigan, and even Canada, you come down 77, 81, hit 74, and you go to the beach. It's a boring middle-class town. And I want to thank our 3 youth council volunteers for this picture.
Well, I'm glad to know it was actors rather than real people.
That was an early morning flight out of Austin. But it's boring. There's nothing to do here. Unless there's an event, unless there's an activity scheduled, there's not a lot to do for people, whether you live here or you're visiting here. And you get a ticket, you get a deed. Monroe's where you go to court to pay your ticket. Okay? So, why do we need brand? We need a well-defined brand, and I'm not going to read this for you, y'all can read. We need an identity. We need this identity to make Monroe a more desirable location for business, industrial, commercial, retail, as well as visitors and residential. We're competing with everybody, and just like a business, if we don't compete, we don't market ourselves, we're going to lose out. We lose customers, and which, as we're facing, you guys are facing, it's going to put a heavier financial burden on our residents. And the bottom thing is one of the most important things. If we don't do it, others will do it for us. Just like that last slide that people outside of our city are saying, they're dictating what we are. We don't have the control. We're not the ones putting our message out there. A unified plan is needed. The vision is going to, again, hopefully spur business investment to Monroe, tourism, visitor spending, industrial revenues, drive our future, but it will also unify our city and give us a strategic roadmap on what we want to do, how we want to do it, and what are the important things to us. We can't do this in-house. We don't have the staff, we don't have the capabilities, we need somebody to lead us. We need professional guidance, experienced and accessible company. Somebody that's done this, somebody that has municipal community branding expertise. We need collaboration. You all need to be part of the solution. Staff, residents, the community, because that's where it starts. The community and you all that live here are the ones that have to live it and promote it and sell it. And it needs to be a long-term investment, 1, 3, 5, with benchmarks, with qualitative data, qualitative data that we can see it's working. But it's not going to be overnight. You're not going to invest this money and next week you're going to have people knocking on your door. This is a process. We have to build it, and it needs to be funded.
Well, that third line says exactly what I've said many times, and y'all heard me say, we need somebody to sell ourselves. And it's not going to happen in 1 year. And until we do that, and we all come together and decide what we want to do, and we've got to do it and do it now, that's going to go right on down the river like that as always. And you hear me, and I don't mean to take the show.
Yes, sir.
Over here on 74, how many signs can you count downtown Monroe? It's about like this, about a 12 by 12 by 12. You stay on 74, east or west. I use east because the towns are mirror us better than it does to the west. But if you go east on 74, you got big signs all over 74. The Lumberton, Whiteboard, whatever, the big signs. And I don't know why we don't qualify for a sign other than 12 by 12 says Monroe. So I've said that a million times, and we don't get it done. So we're right back right now where we've been hollering about for the last several years. Go ahead, Ed.
Monroe has got one thing right now that if it gets done would make a big difference, and that's sanitary. It would bring nightlife into Monroe, it would bring restaurants into Monroe. But Monroe is Monroe, and it's the same as the other towns in the ring. Look at Concord. They've got the racetrack. We don't have that, but other than that, there's nothing exciting going on. There's not anything exciting going on in Monroe. But if you want to send a theater to life, then you would bring enthusiasm to try to bring back the downtown.
I agree, Lynn. I agree 100%. But I think we need to be bigger than just a center theater. We need to create an identity for ourselves to say, okay, if somebody's looking at us, okay, Concord, well, they're okay, but Monroe, Gateway to whatever, we need to market that. We need to sell that. If we don't get our name out, if we don't get ourselves out there, then we're doing a disservice because we're not even part of the equation.
Well, you got to realize too, Rock Hill's interstate, Concord's interstate,
absolutely,
Salisbury's interstate, Statesville's interstate. Monroe has done pretty darn well considering the fact this bypass will help Monroe. It would not have businesses on 74.
And please don't get me wrong saying that where a bad job has been done. I'm just saying we can do it better, creating an identity for ourselves to help market ourselves moving forward. Forget about what we've done. We've done some great things with the airport, the industrial center, but moving forward, it's tough out there, and we've seen it.
Well, what's your idea?
As Lynn says, the interstates, and I agree, and that is a help. But what we need to do is sit back and look and say, well, we're going to have to work a little bit harder, or we're going to have to have a little better idea. And again, I want to say this because I want to see it done. We all need to come together and figure out what we need to do and do it.
But, yeah, I agree, sir. Lynn, I don't have the answer. I think we need to explore a company like North Star, Arnett Muldrow, that specializes in community branding, community marketing. Bring them in and see what they can do for us. Yes, ma'am.
I agree with you to a point. I think that in order for us to get a brand, put it out there, it's got to be something that's very inclusive. It's got to be a place where people are proud to be from,
yes,
where they feel a sense of ownership. So we've got to involve citizenry. Maybe we do need a company to direct us, but it's going to take the people that's here to do it.
Yes,
make it over. Because we can say whatever we please, but it does not what it actually
well,
is.
I think it's twofold. It's actually circular. It starts with the community, starts with you all, goes out to the region, and comes back to the community. The community is going to be the ones who are going to be the cheerleaders and the salespeople as well.
But you know, the barbecue, which Bobby started, brings people in. It's a fun event. Your air show is a fun event. And we don't have a late morning,
We don't.
which is going to bring people like that. the center theater could be one possibility to help, but you're, unless you bring in events, I don't see Monroe ever being a type of city that's really going to do what you're talking about.
Well, I don't envision this as a marketing to bring visitors in. I envision this as, hey, look at our city. This is what we have. We've got all the natural gas you could ever want, right, Don?
Yes,
we've got all the water that you want. We've got this. We've got the land. We've got, you know what I mean? Not just, hey, come visit us because we want you to spend money here. This is a global movement that transcends just visitors. We're looking retail, corporate, industrial, and residential.
Well, anything of any magnitude that comes to this county, they used to always, when it was happening, it would be a windy. And they still have a lot of windy. But now where do they go? They go out here to the ag center. There's nothing in our city that draws the show that some of these other draws. I know we have a great country club. We've got great armory, and they do great. I can't give them enough praise. But we need something where we can bring some of these other shows. Of course, I've always said this, and I'm not looking for a Coliseum that fits Shaw. We need something that fits Monroe, that we can bring these shows in here, but they all don't have to go to the ag center.
I agree. I think
Mayor and City Council, I've asked Pete to present this to you all, to tee it up. We're not presenting it today saying it will be funded. It is, I think it is important, but it is one of a number of strategies that we might take. Your last comment I heard is more of a bricks and mortar strategy. This is more of a program to help create an identity and reinforce an identity amongst our community that we can use to pitch beyond our corporate limits. And if, not to steal Pete's closing line, but if the board doesn't think it's important, we'll move on to something else.
So that's 300% important. But it's also, and apparently nobody ever agrees with me because it don't ever get off the ground. We don't have anything in the city of Monroe that you can hold any size event. They got to go to Wing, or they got to go to the Ag Center.
I agree with you 100%.
And if you bring somebody in downtown, you can forget it. This is a 300% thing. I give it all of my support.
I think Larry and I are on board. I think most councils on board with that. I think that and this are dissimilar in pieces, but together they could work.
You got to put it all together.
You know, so partners, Tourism Development Authority has allocated $40,000 in this year's budget for branding / wayfinding. So that money can be allocated to it. It would need some. I don't have specifics. I've been talking with a couple companies. I don't have specifics on what a cost would be, but looking at some other things to run a full-fledged campaign like we would need, you're probably looking at close to $100,000 over the year, over the 2 to 3 years. And what it looks like specifically, I'm sorry, I don't have those answers for you, but that's why we need the professional guidance. Tourism, like I said, has $40,000 already this year, could potentially put some more in for next year. General fund would have to contribute. Economic development would help on the guidance side and the marketing side. I don't think they would do much on the financial side. They went through this process about a year ago and identified different sectors of recruitment, so I'm not sure they would be involved. But I believe it would be a boom for energy services and water resources because we would be attracting businesses and consumers within their marketplace. So that's kind of where I'm at. If we don't do something, that's fine. If we're happy with where we're at, I'm fine. We serve you all. This is just an idea, a concept that we believe could help move the city forward and help us in the future.
Jim, a couple of questions, comments. Bobby's correct on the Civic Center. We couldn't afford it, or we actually got voted down on a bond vote or something that from outsiders, not even people inside the city of Monroe. I think her name was Fern Sheep. You know, to have a destination, you got to have something people come visit.
Absolutely.
And whether it be the Senate Theater or Civic Center, you know, those are still things. The Civic Center is something that the mayor could work on. I don't pay for it unless we can get some.
Well, I don't either, and when I say that, I mean one that fits Monroe,
So,
not a civic center set to Greensboro or Charlotte.
But
We don't
we-
need one that long. We just need some kind of venue that we can bring some of this stuff to Monroe instead of shuffling it out somewhere in some other venue. And what you got on here, again, I repeat myself, I think it's great, I back it 100%. If we don't start somewhere, at some time, we're gonna be right where we were 3 years ago. We should have done this 3 years ago.
But you know, we went to Virginia on our search to build a business park.
mhm.
And I don't remember the little town we stayed in that night. But I'm telling you what, they had the dangest civic center I've ever seen. Down in the lower part, they could actually have rodeos. See about 6,000 people, you go upstairs, I mean, it was phenomenal. And it was not, that town wasn't anything right home about, let's put it that way. So,
Along those lines, just for your information, we're not ready to totally push forward with it. TDA is working on a couple initiatives for an attraction. Don't know exactly what it looks like, but we are moving forward with that because an attraction, a destination is sorely needed within the city of Monroe.
you know, as far as your golf course, you do have something unique about that golf course. It's the last 9 holes Donald Ross ever designed. And people that play that front nine, really, it's something special.
So, Mayor, Council, Manager,